So I've got some news that the mainstream media as a whole is not really covering because it's very disturbing and it makes feminists look even more stupid and foolish than they already are. And I'm talking about radical feminists, those the most unreasonable feminists. I'm not talking about some basement gal feminist who just thinks that being a feminist is admirable. I'm not attacking them. I'm talking about the hardcore feminists. Kate Harding, the author of Nasty Women, sounds like a porno magazine, actually. When I first heard it, I thought it was a porno. I'll go buy some. I mean, anyway, forget it. But she wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post saying and warning not to get rid of the Democrat Senator Al Franken. I mean, I call him Al Frankenstein, and he looks like Frankenstein. He has the face of Frankenstein. All you gotta do is put the little things here on his neck. I mean, his face, I'm not even trying to be nasty. The shape of the brother's face is the same shape as Frankenstein's face. So Al Frankenstein, according to Kate Harding, should not be impeached because he might be replaced by a Republican. And she is completely anti-Republican, anti-Trump, anti-conservative. She wouldn't like the Iranian nation, and the Iranian nation doesn't like her. She claims to be a hardcore feminist. She bases her career on she's a hardcore feminist. But according to her, it's better to keep a man who gropes women on the breasts. It's better to keep someone like that than to kick him out because he might be replaced by a Republican. Even if the Republican is a woman, it could be the most decent person on earth. The fact that the person is a Republican is any Republican, you could go to Condoleezza Rice, Sarah Palin, Laura Ingraham, any Republican, Colin Powell, some decent people out there. Very decent, non-controversial people out there. All of them are worse than a man who gropes a woman. And this woman says she is a feminist. Now, I can understand why the mainstream media doesn't want to report on this because it's embarrassing as hell. I mean, this is disgraceful, but the Iranian nations don't report on it because the Iranian nation don't give a shit, But her name is Kate Harding. You should read her views on the Washington Post. Read her op-ed. She says that we should not impeach Al Franken. He groped women. He groped a woman on her breast. There's a picture of it. You see, he's there with his two hands on her breasts. I mean, she looks like she was drugged by Bill Cosby, and she's in some kind of trance, and she just got raped, and he's using her as a trophy to take a picture with his hands on her breasts. But that's better than a Republican. That's better than any Republican out there. Any Republican out there. It could be the most decent person on the Condi Rice, Colin Powell, friggin' any man or woman. Man, Kay Bailey Hutchinson, Mia Love, any Republican woman out there is worse than a dirty, rotten man who gropes a woman on the breasts and takes a picture of it, grinning, while she looks like she just got drugged by Bill Cosby and raped. That's fine as long as it's not a Republican. This is how far gone liberals are. And don't be mistaken. Most liberals think that way. Nobody, nobody can say anything about conservatives, because the moment a conservative is in trouble, the Republican establishment, they abandon them like rotten bread. I mean, look at this poor Roy Moore. The allegations haven't even been proven. And Mitch McConnell, you got rotten John McCain with his pineapple face, Mitt Romney, all of them. Ivanka Trump, Paul Ryan, all of the Republican establishment abandoned Roy Moore like moldy bread. And the allegations haven't even been proven. But here you have a picture of Al Frankenstein putting his hands on a woman's bongos, and she looks like she is completely uncomfortable. She looks like she has been drugged. Look at the picture. She looks like she just got drugged. She's just uncomfortable. It's like she's in a state of just despair. Picture. You got an actual picture of it. It looks disturbing. I mean, if it were me, I would shoot myself if Al Frankenstein did that to me. Like, I would kill myself. Like, he is a freak of nature, and there's picture proof. And this so-called feminist Kate Harding says that's better than being replaced by a Republican. She says, don't impeach him. Do not impeach him. He might be replaced by a Republican. And it's very possible. Minnesota almost went to Donald Trump. If you put the votes of Donald Trump and Darrell Castle together in Minnesota, he would have just barely won Minnesota. And not even Reagan could have won Minnesota. You know, this is the state of Jesse Ventura. This is a very independent state. They have no qualms about voting for a Republican. They will if they have a reason to. And Kate Harding knows this. Feminist author Kate Harding knows this. So she says, do not impeach Al Frankenstein. He might be replaced by a Republican. This freaky woman breast groping, just creep. Don't impeach him. He disrespects women's space. He grabs women without their consent on their breasts, on both breasts. But don't impeach him. He might be replaced by a Republican. If I was a feminist, I'd be more concerned about him being replaced by a Democrat. Look at all the Democrats that have been accused of rape and sexual assault. You got Bill Clinton, Harvey Weinstein, Al Frankenstein. You got freaking all of Hollywood, which is all mostly liberal. Okay, the conservatives, yeah, Roy Moore. Okay, maybe Donald Trump. Those two have been accused. But more liberals have been accused of this thing than conservatives. This is the party of sexual assault and rape, even though they claim to be the party for women. I'd be more concerned about him being replaced by a Democrat, for crying out loud. So don't be concerned about a Republican, but you know, it's not worth trying to talk reason to these liberals and these feminists and these snowflake social, because they don't have sense. Their brain is not human. It's not a human brain. These people are the most irrational, reckless, inferior, feeble-minded individuals on the planet. And I am saying that proudly. It is true. I've seen more than enough libtardedness to make that analysis. So Feminist says, don't replace Al Franken, senator from Minnesota, because he might be replaced by a Republican. It doesn't matter whether he grabbed a woman's breast without her consent, making her uncomfortable as hell, and invading her space, disrespecting her. Doesn't matter. Don't replace him. He might be replaced by a Republican.